Litigation in the public courts takes years before reaching trial, diverting your time, attention, and resources from much more productive objectives. But if you choose Intelligent Justice's superior system to decide your dispute, you will have a decision in less than half the time required for public court litigation.
Hello, I'm Rick Grossman, founder of the nonprofit enterprise Intelligent Justice. We are committed to solving the enormous problems faced by parties seeking to resolve a legal dispute via traditional litigation. In this post, I will explain how Intelligent Justice's comprehensive adjudication system eliminates the excessive investment of time required for traditional litigation. Litigation in our public courts generally requires 3 to 5 years to reach a verdict. Appeals can make the process much longer. During that entire period, the parties' time, attention, and resources are diverted away from important other objectives. I was once an advocate in court litigation that lasted 14 years before the courts reached a final resolution. The dispute concerned the defendant's failure to fulfill its contractual promise to use its best efforts to bring an energy-saving technology to market. But the court system required 2 lengthy trials and multiple appeals before this contract dispute could be finally decided 14 years later. We ultimately obtained a fabulous victory for our clients, but it came after the prime years of their professional careers had passed and the sweet spot for bringing their technology to market had passed. Is that justice? I don't think so. In another case, my client accused a hospital chain of using improper contract restrictions to choke off competition and overcharge its customers. The delays inherent in the court system did not allow us to start a trial for nearly 6 years, but we obtained a fabulous settlement for our clients shortly after the trial began. 5 years after the settlement was signed, the court is still overseeing enforcement of the agreement to stop the anti-competitive practices. These cases and most others could easily have been fully investigated and properly decided in less than a year if the parties had agreed to use a comprehensive adjudication instead of court litigation. What causes the extraordinary amount of time and resources required to litigate a case in the public court system? Well, the primary cause is the arcane requirement for multiple presentations of the same law and evidence over and over again. It begins with so-called discovery proceedings, where the attorneys privately review the relevant documents and then take the sworn testimony of the witnesses in private depositions conducted in their law firm conference rooms. Some of that evidence and testimony is later presented to the judge in the form of multiple pretrial motions. Then the evidence is presented again to the judge and a jury at a trial several years later. And then the same evidence is later presented to a different set of judges when the trial verdict is appealed. Another cause of delay is created by the attorney's efforts to obtain an advantage for their clients through multiple pretrial procedural motions. Often the subject of those wasteful motions is over the proper scope of the document subpoenas, written interrogatories, and deposition questions that are utilized during the lengthy pretrial discovery process. But there also are dozens of additional pretrial motions that have nothing to do with the substance of which party is entitled to win the case, and only concern the procedures that will be followed in preparing the case for trial and presenting the evidence to the jury. A comprehensive adjudication eliminates the court system's inefficient procedures by utilizing a single, jointly selected, expert adjudicator to investigate the facts and decide the case. Wasteful motions are eliminated because the separate warring attorneys seeking procedural advantages are replaced by a single, neutral, jointly selected adjudicator. neither party can obtain a procedural advantage. The only thing that matters is the substance of who legally deserves to win. Duplicate presentations of the evidence are eliminated because the adjudicator only needs to review the documents and examine the witnesses just once. And the adjudication trial begins immediately with the jointly selected adjudicator's review of the relevant evidence and examination of the witnesses under oath, wherever and whenever the evidence and witnesses are found. There's no need to wait 3 to 5 years for a trial in the public courts to begin. These improvements guarantee that legal disputes can be properly decided in less than half the time required to litigate the same dispute in the public court system. And by eliminating the extraordinary delays inherent in the public court system, a comprehensive adjudication swiftly provides the parties with a thoroughly analyzed decision and avoids the unnecessary diversion of the parties' time, attention, and resources from other important objectives. In my next post, I will explain how a comprehensive adjudication proceeding also eliminates the excessive risk of an unjust verdict in the public courts.